Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios. So, we are continuing our run of the Chris Claremont era X books. We are still on XMen, Uncanny XMen 147 from 1981 by Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, and Joseph Rubinstein. So I said it in the last couple videos. Dave Cockrum is a good artist. He's a good penciler. But after John Byrne, it does seem like a step back. So we got this good cover here of Storm, and love the thing here, Rogue Storm. So last issue I forgot to show you the cover. Classic X-Men is how I discovered these things. So this was last issue's cover, and then this is this issue's cover back. So Classic X-Men 51. Classic X-Men, as I mentioned, is how I learned all about these things here. Steve Lytle is the cover artist. Rest in peace. And he's using some kind of zipatones, duotones here on these. I have a playlist. I started with Giant Size X-Men #1. I covered that as Classic X-Men #1. I've been covering Classic X-Men since. Once Classic X-Men stopped with the supplemental material, I just went to straight Uncanny X-Men. I don't have this one in the original form, because I just wasn't interested in it. Rogue Storm is the title. I do have it also though in the Epic collection. And here we see Castle Doom, or at least the one that's in the United States. So, and here we have our credits of Claremont, Cockrum, and Rubinstein, or Stein. I think it's Stein though. And so, Storm's wind has taken Nightcrawler, and so now he's falling through. Claremont puts in so much exposition. So basically, he can't teleport because he'll just, if he teleports to the ground from there, he'll teleport at this exact same speed. So he'll just be crushed here. So, and he's still pretty high up here. So he's gonna basically see if he can find an updraft here, and then there's that lake, and he's gonna try to land somewhere in there. Hope that it's not frozen when he hits it. Of course, Storm is just going through stuff here, so he finally catches an updraft, and once he gets the updraft, he teleports and then falls right before the water, and then he falls. So, and the water is cold, but he makes it to the surface and is gonna climb out here. So, Chris Claremont, just I love him. I truly do, truly do, but it's just he puts in so many words here. So he's going to give a narration of pretty much what's been happening. So I have a playlist, like I said, so we're not going to spend too much time in covering this part here. So, and so he's going to go and see what he can do here. I'm not a big fan of Arcade. And although I do love Chris Claremont's writing, I made mention last issue that his treatment of Doctor Doom, I'm actually on John Byrne's side. Doctor Doom, there is no way, with everything we know from Doctor Doom, that he would tolerate. He would have destroyed Arcade. I kind of wish he would have, because I know Chris Claremont. It's just, Arcade is just so dumb. It's the worst. So anyway, we're gonna continue, and so Arcade keeps being a jerk here, and he says, "Face it, Vic, you lost an X-Men. Don't that bother you none?" And he says, "Little man, have you no understanding of doom?" I love how both John Byrne and Chris Claremont have their villains calling people little man. And so, remember, Arcade, I designed their death traps to test them, their abilities, their intelligence, their courage. If the X-Men are truly as formidable as you have incessantly boasted, they will escape. If not, and so he comes through. Order, sir. Nightcrawler is out. I wish him retaken alive and relatively unharmed. And Arcade says, "Shoot, Vic, you sure know how to spoil a body's fun." But here's kind of the little other thing is, just keep in mind this. John Byrne had just started his run on Fantastic Four. He had not used Doctor Doom yet. And Doctor Doom had been characterized sort of like this. John Byrne's really the first one to make Doctor Doom be, he's speaking more Stan Lee-ish here, and I think that's what Chris Claremont had used as kind of possibly his model. But John Byrne went on a different direction, and I love John Byrne's direction. So, but it's been so years because we're reading this retroactively, and I think that when you read it retroactively, Doom does seem silly, and this is why I think John Byrne said, "Let's just make him into a friggin' robot here." Which is then kind of funny because all this exposition, why would a robot be thinking it, So this was retcon. So at this time, this was supposed to be the real Doctor Doom, which is why Doctor Doom is thinking all this. But then John Byrne was like, screw that, and then turned him into. So Doctor Doom says, "Arcade, you are beneath my contempt. You are intellect without purpose, power without responsibility. Your only goal is your own self-gratification." And then he yells out, "What? Ororo, close that window at once. As you command, Lord Doom." And so, of course, the robot Doctor Doom, because we know it's a robot, because that's how John Byrne established it. He gets to think these thoughts, which, of course, at this time, it wasn't planned that way. Like I said, I'm not going to give Chris Claremont a headache about it. He was going kind of how Doctor Doom had been written. But now that John Byrne's written Doctor Doom the way he has, now everybody then, of course, writes Doctor Doom that way. So, and so he thinks here that could Storm be doing this? Of course, we know this is the robot Storm. And could Storm be doing it? But he says that's not possible because she's in that prison, in that the metal where he turned her into like a living metal, like Colossus here. So of course they're seeing this huge hurricane like a thing hitting New England here, and so they're saying how strong it is here, and this guy's gonna call the president because he's never seen anything like this. So up here at one of these, what are they called? Columns. We'll call them columns for my lack of a better word. I've seen a lot of weird things since I hired on with Doom, but this beats them all. What's the matter, Phil? You ain't seen a hurricane before? I've seen my share of everything, Toby. This still beats them all. I don't mind telling you, partner, I'm spooked, he says. So they're trying to keep warm by this fire here. I love Glynis Wayne / Oliver when use of magenta here. When this guy goes, "What's that, Phil?" as he points out there, and he sees Nightcrawler through the window, and they start to shoot. Of course, you can see Banff here as he teleports behind them, and so he knocks them both down. He says, "I hope you have the most unpleasant dreams here." So he's gonna go down the staircases here. Gonna go try and rescue the X-Men. And so Colossus is still hanging on here. Of course, that typhoon is getting higher and higher, and he's all the way to the top here. Of course, we know that he can't make it all the way. Um, he can't let himself go down because of these lasers. But then the guns stop firing, and so he decides, well, I'm just gonna go, and so he's gonna saturate his his lungs before he goes down. But here's the thing: if you remember last issue, his thoughts were like, well, I don't need to breathe in my armored form, so why doesn't he go down in his armored form? Why did he decide to jump down as human? So and so the guns are pointed at him, but he decides to swim through it, and so he's seeing here that they didn't shoot, so he turns into his armored form and punches on through. And then, of course, we have Angel still trapped, and so he discovers that the not that they're not shooting, but I shouldn't say he discovers. He decides he just can't keep staying there forever. Anyway, he's been watching here. You can see everything is there. That it's not going randomly here. You can see here there's a sequence, and so he's gonna go and hope he can get through it. So he thinks it's very similar to how it is in the Danger Room, and you saw that he made his way out, but then of course he's hit with all the water from Colossus here, and of course we got Wolverine here, and he's having flashbacks here from his time in Alpha Flight, or before Alpha Flight. This would be Vindicator here, and how he ended up quitting here. This is actually a good panel by Cockrum here. And so so he says here, Mag tried, I'll give him that Berserker spells came less and less frequently, and for a while after I joined the X-Men, I got him pretty much under control. But lately, that control's been slipping. I'm becoming as much a danger to the X-Men as to the creeps we fight. So Wolverine goes, I can feel a berserker rage building inside me. If I cut loose, I'll revert to the animal side of nature, so totally that I may never regain my humanity. I've been that route before. I'd rather die. Of course, if I do nothing, then I'd be safe. I ain't played things safe a day in my life, and I ain't about to start either. I have to harness the power of my rage, make it work for me. I hit a wall, and as expected, it repels me. I set off another light show too. Cripes, it's murder. I can handle it though. I've got to. And so you can see him extend his claws. And when he gets close to the other one, he just starts swinging with with his claws. And as he goes through, you can see slash, 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 slash. So, and he falls on the floor. He goes, I'm on the floor. I must have short-circuited the anti-gravity field. I feel wasted, but I can still think. I'm still in control. Score 1 for the Psycho, he says. So, and of course, that's filling up with water from where Colossus was. He goes, corridor's flooded. I'm picking up familiar scents. I guess I ain't the only X-Men busting out of Doom's dungeon. The scents the scents are fresh, but almost too diffuse to follow. I should find him, set up a battle plan. Hold it, he says. The air's stinking with ozone, and thunder shaking the walls even down here. The castle must be in the middle of one of Storm's electrical... one butte of an electrical storm. This doesn't feel natural. If Ororo created something this big and powerful, she must be fighting for her life. I've got no time to corral the others. Ororo needs my help now. And so you can see here, and Doom goes, who dares? Wolverine! And he says, on your toes, creeps, the cavalry's just arrived. Following Doom and Arcade's trail was child's play, but I couldn't find a trace of Storm's sense. There she is, but how come she ain't fighting Doom? And so she stands in front of him, and It says, Ororo, deal with this diminutive upstart. Remember, Wolverine's supposed to be like 5 feet, 5'3" at the most. So, as you command, Lord Doom, not a chance, sweetheart. And he can tell because of the scent that it's not Storm, and he just hacks her. And so, fascinating. And I thought I was ruthless. But of course, Wolverine knew better here. She was only a toy, little man. Did you think you would deal with me as easily? As he uses some repulsor, kind of like Iron Man, hitting Wolverine here, like this pose here. Easy or hard, it makes no difference. I'll keep coming, Doom, until I get you, he says. And so Nightcrawler teleports right behind him and goes to land on Doctor Doom. You can see here he grabs that and is gonna go get him. And beautiful Crawler, you got him. Cretin Doom may be blind, but he is far from helpless. And he throws a punch here, but Wolverine says, it's my turn. Of course, Doctor Doom's like, no. I offer you a deal, Doom. Your life for Storms, unless you think you can kill me before I poke these claws through your faceplate. Then again, I'm one of the good guys. I could be bluffing. And Storm says, you do not bluff, Wolverine. In that we are much alike. Decide then. She's on the days behind you. My metabolic transmuter transformed her from flesh and blood into living chrome. This orb will reverse the process. And so they throw it at him. Of all the cruel sadists, throw the ball, pal. If Doom's lying, he dies. And so there's that light, and then she's free, and she's turned kind of like into her old garb. And look at that, just very cool. She yells, "I'm free," and everyone's just like, "Whoa!" Love the coloring, not just here with the screen tones that Rubinstein did, but the green and then the blue here. It looks really nice. So, and so Doom uses, while everybody's watching her, uses and shoots at Wolverine. And Storm's like, do not run, Doom. It is a wasted effort. No place on earth can you hide from my wrath. No power or entity can protect you. And so Doom's thoughts here. I deflected that lightning bolt, but the efforts drained my armor's energy reserves. Another such attack may well destroy me. You can just see how angry she is. And Wolverine's like, no, not Ororo, not her too, Kurt. We've got to stop her. And Nightcrawler says, how? Am I not beautiful, Lord Doom, and terrible? Do you not fear me? You should, you shall, he says. Or she says here, and Dr. Doom's like, crap. And so here comes Colossus. My flood washed me to the lowest levels of the castle's catacombs. It took seemingly forever to climb out. By the White Wolf, what is happening here? One of his sayings here. So Ororo has changed. She is attacking both Doom and our fellow X-Men. I had best remove everyone from harm's way. So he punches through the floor, and everybody you can see here falls through. Ororo, it is Peter. I stand before you as a friend. And she's like, I have no friends. I need none. And he's like, you are so different. I am that. I am, little brother. I am power. So she's going like Dark Phoenix on the poor X-Men here. So I have no wish to harm you, Piotr. Be gone. And just hits him with the lightning. Good panel here. Love the coloring here. The red hot here with some of the orange here. Beautiful. So here comes Angel. So Angel arrives here and notices the storm here. And Dr. Doom explains, Colossus explains to him, we face a rogue storm here as well. And Dr. Doom is like, if I could reach my laboratory. And Angel's like, haven't you done enough, Doom? I'll lay any odds you're responsible for this. And Doom says, assess blame when the crisis is past, Angel, assuming we live so long. My intellect, my powers, my devices are the only thing that can save us. So, Storm here, you can see here, Dark Storm is just, look at this. I am a goddess. Just, Storm is so powerful here. So um, Colossus is like, no, you are Ororo, and just reminds her about her and her beauty, and how not just external beauty but her internal beauty. Um, that reminds her of Dark Phoenix and how she, that she can triumph. And of course, here we see some dual tones behind her, as she also now thinks of Phoenix here. And so, um, Storm, you can see she kind of busts out here and flies up. And if I were the Avenger Thor, I could disperse this storm with a thought. But I must work with the forces of natures, not ride roughshod over them and gently shape them to my will. The effort is as tremendous as the Holocaust itself. I did not dream I was capable of creating such a thing. And so, uses her powers little by little, and then she's exhausted, and so she falls. And so Angel goes to get her, and he's like, "It'll be dangerous, but I have to try." And so she's at terminal velocity here, so he says here, I'm gonna have to do this in a way where he can match her speed and catch her so as to not hurt. And you can see here, Angel. And so, who better to rescue damsel in distress? Relax, Ororo. You're in good hands. You're safe. So, sunrise is so beautiful, a good omen, I think. So she thanks Angel, and you can see here that Colossus has Arcade here, and so, and Colossus tells Arcade, and unless you behave yourself, I will leave you to Wolverine's tender mercies. And Wolverine here says, "Sounds good to me, bub. I am pleased that you are alive and well, Ororo," says Doctor Doom. And so, Lord Doom, I ask for a final time, for Arcade's innocent lives are at stake. We must have him, and your pledge to take no further hostile actions against him. You ask much, child. He insulted me. Honor demands satisfaction. An apology will suffice. So, and Storm is like, you heard him, Arcade. Apologize. No way, Bimbo. Wolverine, she calls out, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'll never insult you or bother you again, Vic. You have my word. For what it is worth, says Doom. So, and Dr. Doom says, I too would like to apologize. I'm a creature of habit. You X-Men attacked my home seemingly without provocation. I responded in kind. I would hope that we might begin anew. You are a fascinating woman. I would like to know you better. Very well, Lord Doom, says Storm. We part neither as friend nor enemies. Our slate is clean. The next move, for good or ill, is yours, she says. So, and so we get to the last page here, and the storm has passed. And this is Lee and Scott Summers, of course. Scott Summers, Cyclops, is working for her, and he says, "Good morning, sleepyhead." And one of the things that Claremont always does, "Good morning yourself, Jean." And she's like, "Jean? Who's Jean? Sorry, the morning yourself." Lee, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else. He says, "Obviously, want to talk about it?" And he says, "Not particularly. This is something I have to work on my own." And he just goes, "Scott, don't. Good Lord. Lee, your voice trailed off. What's wrong?" "I can't see. What is it?" And so, of course, she sees this here. "It's a city, Scott, unlike anything I've ever seen on an island, roughly a mile offshore. An island that wasn't there yesterday." And we get the next issue, Cry Mutants. So, Uncanny X-Men 147, Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, with Joseph Rubinstein in the inks. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.